might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod.
Mr. Zod, and today I'm going to bring to you guys my own review, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do a review based on a behind-the-scenes spoiler breakdown brought to you in part by the people who made this episode. Because through the power of editing, we're going to straighten out some of these facts and misinformation that they'll give you that the show wasn't really about. So this is going to be an interesting one because I have this video paused, and this video is going to be slightly longer. So anyone who watches a few minutes of this, I'm going to have the whole like, share, subscribe thing going on. So, pass it along. I'm going to do more of these reviews because I did a poll on Twitter, and overwhelmingly people want me to sit through and suffer through the show. So the least I can do is make a comprehensive review. So we're going to go by what the actors are talking about, and I'll pause it, and I'll give you guys my own comments with maybe some hilarity in the background, some things that'll pop up, and I'll let you guys judge the quality of this show, because while the actress is good for the most part comparatively to Ruby Rose, the show is bad. And I'm going to highlight the exact reasons because the person who makes the show highlights why this show is terrible. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's play this, and I'll stop and give you guys context and things like that as we go along. Here we go.
I think that Ryan's reaction to putting on the suit and Javicia's reaction to putting on the suit is pretty much the same. Like, it's freaking epic.
So let me just stop right there before I get more into this. Javicia is a much better actress. You could tell during this interview and even during the show. Javicia is probably right now the best part of the show. And it's a shame because this actress to me actually has spunk. She actually has a good energy that, say, Flash, any of the likable people that people may tune into the CW for, she has that thing, charisma. One would say that charisma vacuum Ruby Rose did not have. So
the biggest challenge for me launching this season with a new lead character is figuring out who we want that character to be. And so the challenge for me was...
So that's Caroline Drives, and I absolutely can't stand this woman. I think she is everything that is wrong with making a show today. She constructs story based on messaging. And look, if you want to put some kind of spin into your thing, everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. It's the new thing to do. But this lady comes out, and you'll see later in this interview how she comes out and she consistently builds her story and makes the story fit the narrative that they're pushing that week. And this is why this show will never be more than one of those cheap CW shows. A show can be on CW and have some substance. I loved Smallville. I liked Arrow up to about season 4 or 5, somewhere in there. I liked Flash for the first 3 seasons. I like Legends of Tomorrow still, mainly because of Matt Ryan as Constantine. So you can have a subpar show be good if the story is written well. She can't write.
Basically making sure that she was a badass, unique, beautiful, powerful woman that we have not seen or felt before in the DC world. So a big part of that was casting Javicia Leslie
to see the bat on my chest. Like, I'm a huge Batman fan. I grew up on Batman.
I believe she's a Batman fan when she says that. And now, the problem with that statement that we just heard from Dries is that she is already in code telling you exactly what this story is about. And watching the first episode and breaking it down, and you'll see scenes later on that I'll explain and give context to, but the way the show is constructed and written from beginning to end, it's poorly done, very contrived, lazy writing. I mean, literally, Javicia, we'll say Ryan Wilder for the sake of this review. Ryan finds the suit, it literally falls from the sky. You cannot get more cheap and derivative in writing than something falling from the sky. It's astonishingly bad.
Man, I watched all the Batmans. So to see the bat on my chest, it just felt like, wow, like I'm a part of the family. So we did fittings, so I saw little pieces of it here and there, but the first time I put the entire suit on, I was in my trailer. It was just, it was there's like this moment of like, oh my goodness. Like, I am a superhero.
Okay, so right there, the suit falls from the sky. Keep in mind when we're introduced to this character, she lives down by the river in a van. I can't make this up. If you've seen a review or watched other people's reviews, the crash happens like a couple of feet away from her van. There's a person who's dying. She goes and gives them CPR, saves them. It would have been a great character moment in any other show because she does throw up, but then she gathers her wits about her and continues on with the scene and grabs the bat suit and notices, that's when she notices the suit. And now this is a great character building show, but all of this should have been established last year in the show. Instead, we got Ruby Rose and Kate Kane and that disaster.
No matter what happens in my life from this point on, I will forever be a superhero. That's pretty freaking cool. Like, my grandkids are going to be able to say my grandma was a superhero. So yeah, it's definitely like exciting.
Ryan kind of emerged from feeling out like what is the opposite of Kate Kane. And while Bruce and Kate were interested in fighting the system and fighting social injustice, Ryan actually...
Social injustice. Anybody pick up on that? Yeah, folks, if you thought that season 2 was going to change, right? For instance, they had an episode last season I'll never forget because I specifically reviewed this with PB, and it was called A Great Day to Be Gay. I can't make that up. Look it up. That's the name of the episode. It's horrendous. And here, she drops social justice right away, right? That's the first thing we talk about is not, who is this person, but it's their social standing and where they stand within the community. And you can convey this if you're a good writer without having to drop the words in an interview. Let's continue.
Has experienced being stuck in that system firsthand, and I think that's actually what her superpower is. So both Bruce and Kate come from a lot and wealth. They have
her superpower is being poor.
That's
what you're saying. That's
They're
great.
incredibly
Good
privileged.
message.
They have a lot of education, and I wanted to create a character who doesn't have the access to the privileged life that they had.
Privilege.
The reason I wanted Ryan to have a core wound that was, it just turned out, I think, to be similar to Bruce Wayne's, is because, that was the pinnacle moment of her life. Like Bruce Wayne, there's just a sort of new character arises out of that tragedy.
Okay, so let's stop right there. Bruce Wayne's backstory is his parents get shot in front of him when he's like 10 years old coming out of an opera. Very traumatic, very tragic. Now, Ryan's tragedy is she's in an apartment building. It gets burnt down by Alice's gang of thugs, and she makes it out, and her mother does not. She can't save her. I want to say smoke inhalation or something like that, but long story short, she makes it out. A lot of people die. Big setup. Now, is there a comparison somewhere in there? I guess, but one is a childhood trauma that sticks with Bruce Wayne and molds the very character of who he's going to be. At this point in the story, Ryan's already grown up and has already experienced all these other things you could play around with, but it's like every other thing. They want to take bits and pieces from the original legacy. Let's continue.
Apart
This is
from
so
that
terrible.
poor wound tragedy, I wanted to create a completely different character.
Well, it's funny when I think about the sequence of when Ryan was putting the entire suit on, and the way it's shot, and how clumsy she is, and how like not coordinated she is. It was kind of how I was when I first put the suit on, like trying to get my foot through, and where does this go? And
now, here's the thing. This scene is actually pretty good. The scene, she changes into a dirty stall. Now, look, I know there's been other YouTubers who've highlighted this scene and said whatever about it. If you don't like Batwoman, which I don't, but you already come into it not liking it, you're not going to give credit where credit is due. I consider myself more of a partial viewer, so I'm going to say this scene was enjoyable. It was kind of funny. And it showed that the protagonist doesn't have a full grasp on the suit, how it works, things like that. It wasn't really a bad scene. I think, once again, this is stuff that if this was the first season, it would make this show a little bit better received than what it was.
oh, this is for my hand, not my leg. Our director, Holly Dale, was just like, just go for it. Like, if it's too much, I'll tell you. But she never told me, so I just went for it. There are moments where, like, I'm falling over in the bathroom and, like, I'm trying to get my foot in and I'm hopping. And it was so funny.
The first scene I shot with Javicia was incredible. I believe my first scene shooting with her was when she was in the bat suit in the cave. And
Now, this gentleman here who plays Lucas Fox, I feel bad for, because on the show, he is the son of, Lucius Fox, or Morgan Freeman's character. I guess they're trying to make a parallel from Dark Knight, which is terrible. Well, of course, they have to drag in good stuff, though. And I feel bad because this character constantly gets belittled and berated on the show, like most of the male characters on the show, which is one of the big problems with this show. So, yeah.
This episode, and it was awesome. It was so cool to see her because, as a new character, as a new black superhero, it was cool to see that she saw how big of a deal it was. And before they said cut, she just had this big smile and started laughing. And they didn't say cut yet. She was like, Javicia, like you're still Batwoman. But you could just tell that this little black girl joy in her, where she's just like, wow, I am in the bat suit. So to see her geeking out about being a bat character was awesome, because I was like, we're gonna get along very well.
It's epic, but then it's also this interesting dynamic where you realize the responsibility of just the suit, right? Realizing that.
I'm sorry. I have to stop it right there. Sorry, Kate Kane already destroyed the responsibility of that suit. If you watch season 1, she let Alice go, who killed numerous people numerous times. Kate Kane left a terrible legacy, but the premiere would have you believe that Kate Kane was this paragon of righteousness and justice and blah, 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 blah. She wasn't. She was a terrible character.
When someone sees that suit, it represents something to them. It represents a hero. Even with Ryan, when Ryan puts on the suit, she automatically has that weight on her of oh, okay, this isn't just Ryan anymore. The moment I put the suit on, I'm someone's hero.
Look, I'm looking for someone. Figured the Boss Face Society knows things. So, who's gonna point me in the right direction?
This is a scene, and I mean, this I really have no clue what to say about that. Now, if you look, and this is one of the big action pieces besides the car chase scene at the end, which is hilarious in its own right. And I'm not going to go over every single bit of the episode because I'm sure there's plenty of people who've done the breakdowns. I'm just spectacularly highlighting what makes the show terrible. And look, this could all be good cheese if different people were writing this, but you could tell the fight scenes, the choreograph, the music in the background is terrible. That music is horrible. Listen to this music. It's so bad.
Or you want to help?
It's like
One of
90s
the
bad.
successes of season 1, in my opinion, was that we didn't just create a cool Batwoman character, we created a really cool world of ancillary characters.
Now, here's the delusion. This woman is like so willing to go down with the ship like no one I've ever seen. One of the greatest things was we've created not only a good character, but we created a supporting cast. No one liked this supporting cast. This show is the biggest joke of a show running because of your season 1 lady.
That we cared about. So in that sense, it's not a pilot. It's all feeling very familiar. In another sense, yes, it's a pilot because we have to.
Yeah, it's the pilot you should have had.
Restart, if you will, the Bat legacy.
Knowing that going into season 2 that his one of his only friends wasn't going to be there sort of helped me in the process because I knew that however the story was going to go.
Okay, so Batwoman in the first season constantly berated this poor character, which I actually felt bad for him. And I love how they get the actor to act as if Kate gave a crap about anybody's opinions or she even cared about Lucius. Yet we're supposed to believe in this season he has such a weight, such a guilt for losing such a great person.
I had to sort of have
I mean,
Luke
this is
already have
this
this
is the
missing
worst.
part of him because I knew that Luke was going to have to already figure out a way to adapt with a Kate Kane in his life. Luke Fox isn't really one to let people enter his life. He's very closed off.
Or
for the
have
most
a
part.
backbone.
So as you saw in season 1, it took some warming up for him to start calling Kate Kane a friend. She was sort of a
No. He did it
enemy
about the
almost at
third
first,
episode.
and then an acquaintance, and then a coworker, and then a friend. So it was our job.
Like
me,
my
Caroline, Jason,
God,
showrunner,
look
and
at
our
this
writers,
picture. Look at this picture. This is I don't. Let's
figure out
continue.
how we feel that
Oh
hole
my
in the
gosh.
beginning. Is it going to be anger? Is it going to be self-hate? Is it going to be grief? So it definitely helped in the process trying to figure out where we're going to take Luke this year.
You know, I think it was important to let everyone in on the Kate Kane is Batwoman secret because
Lady, you made your characters ridiculously stupid. And here's the thing, she's gonna say that the characters just found out now, which is retconned because the character who was Kate Kane's love interest, I forgot her name because I don't care enough to know everybody's name in this show. But anyways, her partner there, she kissed her, and there was a moment where she believed it was Ruby Rose, like any logical human being who's in love with someone else would do. And then they completely retcon it and make her stupid in this episode, like she didn't know who Kate Kane was, even though it was in season 1.
the jig is up, basically. In the premiere, we see that Kate has supposedly
Yes,
died
the
in this
jig is
plane
up,
crash.
thinking you're a good
Impact
writer.
of that plane crash, it knocks the wind out of Mary, and it completely shakes up everything you think you knew. With episode 1, our whole world gets rocked. So
No,
of
it doesn't.
course,
No, it
Mary
doesn't.
is, as the doctor she is, she's triaging the situation. She's there for all of her friends. She's comforting Luke, telling him it's going to be okay regardless of what she believes. She's comforting
Yeah,
her
and
dad,
saying a lot of stupid
going
lines.
down this rabbit hole.
Lots
Is
of
this
stupid lines.
another daughter that I'm losing? And then there's this beautiful
Look at
moment
that crying.
at the end
Look
of
at
the
that. Look at that. Half of this episode. You see that face right there? Get used to that, because that's half this episode. Everybody crying for a horrible character that no one cared
episode
about.
where we exhale and we really feel the impact of what just happened.
I
And
love how
think
she treats
that
this like
when
they're going for some kind
favorite
of reward.
character
This show will
leaves
never be
any
good
show,
reward.
I feel like that's the greatest gift of all, to give an audience, just to let us feel it.
On the surface, Alice is
grieving the fact that she wasn't the one to kill.
Okay, this person who plays Alice, Rachel here, I've never had a problem, actually, despite what other reviewers have said. I've actually liked the fact that this woman here realizes what this show is, and she plays it hammy. Look, if this was a well-written, typical show, I'd say she'd be a strength. Unfortunately, they make Alice about as good as everybody else in this show, so Rachel needs to get another job because they severely waste this.
Okay, because
this
of course this has been her whole the driving force behind everything that she did first season. But underneath, I really feel personally, my take on Alice was that she was and is grieving Kate's death in general, because I'm not sure that she ever would have actually killed Kate. But
no, because she had a whole season to do it and made a bunch of convoluted plans that didn't make sense.
I was a bit surprised at my own emotional response, which is a lovely surprise as an actor.
No, you were surprised this show got picked up for a second season.
It was completely cathartic.
I was too.
I feel so lucky to be here, to have this job, and to have that moment. Episode 1 is like, let's go. That suit is meant for a hero, not the lost.
Oh, this is the greatest
and found.
speech.
You tell that to the bored billionaire who found it in Batman's lost box? You don't know the first thing.
Okay, all right. First, right off there, I love how the writers read contests. She never found it. She broke into Bruce Wayne's Batcave, basically stole his shit, and then made that whole "it'll be better when it fits a woman" line that everybody loves.
About KK. And you sure as hell don't know anything about that symbol.
Oh, yeah, we know enough
I know
about
not
it.
a symbol, or a name, or a legacy.
Here we go.
Exactly, so why do you think you're worthy of wearing it?
And
I'm a number.
there we go.
I am
What?
the 327th baby of a black woman who died during childbirth that year. I'm a $20 a day check to a group home. I'm inmate 40757, 18 months for a crime I didn't commit. But I can live with all those numbers because to mama who adopted me, those are number 1.
Oh, stunning and brave. That speech, if I could clap right now, that speech just, mwah, great right. Look at how much the writers care. So great, so
But
stunning.
it turns
so
out
brave.
she's just
Love
one
it.
of 250,000 murders in this country who have not seen justice. And that is a number I can't live with.
Oh, yeah.
So you can have this damn suit back, but her killer is dead.
I'd say Tommy Elliott pretending to be Bruce Wayne, it definitely doesn't make things any better for Luke because he's already so mad at himself because he sort of blames himself.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Tommy Elliott is in this, and last season he took Face and copied Bruce Wayne. Now, any good writing team would have stretched this out for a season, but not Batwoman writing team, no. This all wraps up in a single episode. Like, they didn't want Bruce Wayne near this. They don't want people to be happy about anything. They want to focus on their strong and powerful female Batwoman. Forget Bruce Wayne, because, no one cares about that.
For Kate hopping on this jet and the jet blowing up. And since he's already sort of blaming himself for that big thing, then he realizes that his idol isn't really there. He thought that Bruce Wayne was back and hopefully he could help in this craziness. And the guy that was in charge of killing his dad was pretending to be Bruce Wayne the entire time. So I think that he holds the weight of Kate Kane being gone on his own shoulders.
I think
And I don't know
also
how long
he
it's gonna
feels
take
bad
for him
that
to
he
take
plays
that
one of
weight
the
off.
most
Because in
iconic
a way, he's
characters
sort of
that
a
they waste.
perfectionist. So he wants to
Literally
fix
in an
everything. He wants to
episode.
solve everything. And when he finds himself being a problem, then it takes him many sleepless nights to sort of come to terms with that it's not all his fault. So I think with Kate Kane's disappearance and
God,
Bruce
what a
Wayne not
waste
being
of an
Bruce,
actor.
I think even when he's not talking about it, deep down, he's sort of constantly remembering that things could have gone a little different if it weren't for him.
Use your brain, Commander. A lesbian.
Okay, I want to just highlight it, but and I stopped at a funny place here. I just want to highlight this speech because this is the one and only speech, and once again delivered by Alice, probably my favorite character in this show. It's what the audience is thinking as to what makes this show stupid. And it's funny because they threw this in here. It feels like it's parodying itself, but it's really not. They really think they make brilliant writing. And here's the thing. Alice explains everything that the audience is feeling. It's actually, this is probably my favorite lines of the episode.
Superhero who could have killed me 12 times but didn't.
Exactly. Tell him, Alice.
I wonder who that could be.
Let him have it.
Preposterous. Kate would have told me.
You rejected her. Over and over to the world, to her face. You wanted her dead.
With Jacob, he feels like he didn't even know his daughter,
that's
realizing
great.
that Kate was his nemesis, his Batwoman, but now he's, all he has left of his 3 daughters is Mary, and he's learning, I don't even know Mary.
I think he's still very much opposed.
Okay, Dougray Scott, if you guys don't know, is a great actor. Why he's in this show, I have no reason to logic that out. And I love the director's quotes in here because she feels like she's brilliant. Like she created a masterpiece. The delusion behind her statements is spectacular. But anyways, swinging back to this whole thing, I like that speech in particular. And that was one of my favorite moments in this season premiere besides the first opening episode. Because, Alice is spectacularly the most rational in this show for a character who's supposed to be the most irrational character of the show. It's spectacular. That whole speech is great. And I love it because it feels like the actress is saying what everyone watching, all 250 people, I'm sorry, there's a couple thousands in there, that are watching. I'm talking to you, all you idiots who will comment and say that this show is great, even though I've just highlighted tons of things wrong. Let's continue.
Anyone in Gotham who is not, in with his philosophy, which is, the Crows, and he sees himself as a legitimate law enforcement agency. And although he discovers that his daughter was Batwoman...
Oh yeah, even though in the first season they were mercenaries.
That, first of all, and how he didn't know. And I think he would like to find his daughter and talk to her and try and discover the history of that and how that came to be.
Good luck, Ruby Rose, gone.
Choosing to tell Jacob Kate's big secret that she's in fact Batwoman at that specific time was particularly cruel, which is...
Can we just get a highlight on Rachel here? Like, I hear so much hate for her character, but if we're being real, she does have CW level acting in this show, yes. But what strikes me is this person here seems to legitimately care about her character and probably be the only person in this show that has any sort of charisma. I love the Alice character, they could have, thank God, they didn't go the Joker route, but she's her own character to me, and I feel like this actress is being criminally underutilized and really robbed of maybe being in a show that would appreciate her talents. They should just swing her to a better show.
Right in Alice's wheelhouse, so I wasn't surprised that she told him, and I think that was always a part of her plan to tell him, because it's always been a part of Alice's plan to hurt.
Alice doesn't know her plan because she's got a terrible
So I was
writer.
actually really excited when I discovered that Sophie was going to finally...
So Sophie is finally going to happen. Here's the retcon now, folks. Sophie had her suspicions in season 1. They intentionally dumbed down this character. And once again, another actress I actually like in this show. But unfortunately, they make her overwhelmingly stupid, because if you are romantically involved with someone and you kiss them and you've kissed a person before, obviously you would put 2 and 2 together and figure out who's underneath the suit. But I forget this show doesn't follow logic or common sense or reason. Like PB says, it's the greatest comedy on TV.
know that Kate is Batwoman. I feel like It's sad because Sophie, she's making out with Batwoman, but she didn't recognize the lips, and I'm like, come on, girl.
See, even the actress says it. Even the actress says it. How she doesn't blame the writers? I have no clue.
And so when I saw the script that it was finally going to happen and Sophie was going to know, I was like, way to go. I was really excited.
Sophie realizing, oh my God, I made out with this woman, this Batwoman. I didn't even realize it was Kate. She's
like, oh my God, I'm such a genius. I pulled the wall over everyone's eyes. I'm such a great writer.
in complete turmoil and has zero closure.
It's going to definitely bring about a lot of complications because, there's going to be that concern, like, well, wait, did you know this whole time? And the fact that she's been living a lie as well and making her think that she didn't know this whole time, it's going to definitely cause some issues.
Yeah, in a good show, it would cause issues. In a good show.
Good news, my dear mouse. I have purpose once again. It was Paya who ruined everything.
Like, look at Look. People can say what they want to about this character, but I'm sorry. This scene is another scene that I greatly appreciate because this actress, when I have a feeling when she plays this character, she knows the show she's in. And it's sad. It's sad because you could tell when someone's really trying. And some of the best lines of last season, in my mind, and I would argue with anyone, is delivered by Alice's character. She is so criminally wasted. Like, this is what these shows should be, because look, they're not the greatest shows in the world, but this is how this show should be acted. Maybe people would watch it.
Now, I'm going to ruin her.
Oh my God, it's
lucky you're dead already.
like,
my dear brother.
oh my God, I can't believe I watched this.
Of course, Alice kept Mouse's corpse. It's just so deliciously morbid.
I love that line. See, this actress, I actually like deliciously morbid. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Rachel. You're a treasure to this show. If she leaves, this show
something
sucks.
Alice would do. But she has a much larger plan. Alice always has a large overarching plan, and Mouse's body will be the starting point for that plan, which will evolve, and you'll think that you know what the plan is, and then the plan is even bigger, because I'm an evil genius.
You're an evil genius, the writers are not.
I met the new girl. She's gonna be a handful.
Batwoman does not kill.
Boo!
Alice is planning something big.
Like,
Don't
look
kill
at
me, but I made
that.
some alterations.
What, Sue? New look.
New Batwoman.
When we were shooting season 1, we ended up losing 2 episodes because of the COVID pandemic. We had already prepped and created the Batmobile for what was supposed to be our penultimate episode.
I took a lot of videos behind the scenes of the Batmobile.
Okay, so let's talk about the Batmobile. It's a Corvette with minor modifications, and I might clip in here what the original art design of the team was, which I showed my girlfriend, and she said it looked awesome, and then I showed her what it looked like, and she said it looked like crap. So yeah, Batmobile's in it. Found stupidly by the dude who is pretending to be Bruce Wayne, apparently blowing up a wall in the Batcave that no one could possibly access. That's a whole... Jesus.
No one knows about. Because I am so excited about the Batmobile. Like, it was funny because when I read the first episode of the season and I saw the Batmobile, I kind of was just like, it's like, no one freaking out like I am right now. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, cool, the Batmobile is here. And
Look at that. Look at that. That is the worst design for the Batmobile ever. I hate it. It's so terrible. I mean, CW. I know you don't have the greatest budget, but don't introduce things you can't bring to screen.
I was like, no, the Batmobile is like, what do you? No, this is like one of the biggest Batman properties ever.
This 2021 Corvette kind of already looked like the chassis.
No, it didn't.
So our production designer souped it up.
Dryers.
And then I sent photos of the mock-up to DC, and it goes to their channels, and they basically approved it.
Yeah, because they hate us.
I was like, great, woohoo!
I did the right thing today, Mama.
Oh yeah, she talks to a plant.
I will try to do the right thing tomorrow and the next day. And sooner or later, I promise, I'll be your number one girl again.
Now, see, there is nothing wrong with this line. Some good, as John Campio would say, emotional weight. And this is the problem, is that she is better than this show deserves, and it's sad because her and the Alice character now are going to be the single two things holding this whole entire show together in a hodgepodge of ridiculousness and terrible writing. Oh, here's the big reveal.
At the end of the episode, she gives Luke and Mary the suit back, and she's like, you can take it. I'm not a hero. And in some regard...
Which she wrote accidentally well. Yes, the main person doesn't want to be a hero. Would be compelling if you had a good show, Dryers, if you had a good show.
Her story would just end right there. But it obviously doesn't. But we
No, 'cause
wanted
we got
just to
10
show
crappy
the audience
episodes.
in that moment, hey, look, there's something up here. There's something awry. She's not going anywhere. She's going to ultimately need the Bat Team at some point. And this is obviously a wound that we've never seen in another human being before.
No, we have.
At least.
Superman. We've seen this wound. It's kryptonite poisoning. Like, it's so bad how they take stuff. Let's look at this for a second. This wound is a wound that Superman would get from being shot. It's been done in better shows like, Smallville. Say what you want to. I love that show. I've seen this in Smallville. Like, this lady is so bankrupt for ideas that she's literally ripping off other shows. Like, no, it's not new. You didn't invent the wheel.
Yeah, I think fans are definitely going to be concerned about Penny more because
I think you should be concerned about 8 million
Julia's
not
been
watching
lying.
the show.
So I think all the fans that were really, really rooting for Sophie and Julia, yeah, it's going to get a little rocky. So yeah, definitely be a little concerned.
Do I think that he is more sympathetic to the vigilante antics of Batwoman? Possibly a little bit, but then again, not very much. I mean, Jacob is pretty hardcore when it comes to towing the line and doing the right thing.
Yes,
And
Doug
he's
Scott,
Gotham
and
as
also
his
you're a white male
enclave.
on
He sees it as
a female-centric
kind of,
show, so
kingdom,
of course
as it were. And he's the one who is in charge.
they're going to
He's
neuter
in
you by the end
control.
of the season. Don't
He
worry,
is
buddy.
the law. So if you go against that, then he's not very happy, regardless of whether or not it's his daughter or not.
You see, my dynamic with Javicia is very good. Luke Fox's dynamic with Ryan is not very strong yet.
And it's a shame too, because this actor is also pretty likable in real life. But of course, he's a straight male on the show, so he's made to look like a clown, foolish. He's supposed to be a brilliant character, but
Because like I said before,
Batwoman.
this thing that's in Luke where he's like, I don't know who you are, but you're already trying to fill a spot in my life that does not belong to you. And on top of that, you're trying to be the new hero of the city, and that position is already filled. So they have this very rough dynamic where Luke very openly is like, no, like we have a Batwoman. She's alive somewhere. I don't know how or where. I don't know how we're going to find her, but she's going to need us to find her, and we don't need you around right now.
The worry level for the wound after this premiere should be on 100. Like, it is going to be an issue. It's kryptonite. It's going to be an issue. In any superhero show that you watch, you know what kryptonite means. It's literally a saying when someone...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Janicia. I have to stop you right there. Kryptonite only affects people from Krypton, as Mr. Zod. I could attest to this. And the fact that this writer has the nerve to incorporate such a cornerstone in the Superman mythology into Batwoman, who's not from another planet, is ridiculous. This is the stupidest plot for the story ever.
Bad for you say that's my kryptonite. That is what it is. So it's gonna get really interesting.
So that was the terrible behind the scenes, and I'll do one using these clips and then just debunk everything that they say that's crap. In the comments below, let me know, what do you think of this? Are you excited? Do you care? Are you one of the 8 million who is not watching this show because, enough of us suffer? Don't watch it. I'll review it for you. Thank you very much. And as always, remember the only rule here in the fandom zone: kneel before Zod.